Yeah, I mean, it's very clear where these two teams want to go directionally. Ninjas in Pyjamas playing much more for that late game. They have so much engage on their side with Wukong, with Annie, with Rel, all pretty consistently able to shut down a target or be
considered. He gets the first little victory here in the matchup against Nayo in our featured matchup here. More trading once again. Niket's still a little bit under-leveled. However, he does land that two-man crash down, and YCX has to flash away. Leave with that lethal tempo. Brock can flash forward and pick up first blood for NIP. Savior now forced to flash away. That force shot not doing nearly enough as a double kill is opened up for the NIP bottom lane. I'm not gonna lie, Doinby, you got Sork shoes and a mana crystal. I don't know if you really thought that was gonna be enough for a kill, but at least trying to chunk out XQW, knowing that he did not have level 6. Maybe a small win gets him perhaps a reset angle or an opportunity to roam around with Nayo on the bottom side, as the bot lanes have rotated up to the top lane. Ignite goes on to Savior. He immediately has to cleanse that out. The empowered Q from Leave doing a ton. The hail of arrows. One more auto attack would take Savior down, but he's not in range just yet. The piercing arrow instead will take down YCX, as Leave and Niket having an excellent start to this game one.
Will be the Dragon traded on the other side. Climber opting in to make that decision. I think that that's right in this case. But with Grubs going over and a 1k gold lead in the pocket of Varus, you pointed out correctly, Blade of the Ruin King very close already for Varus here. Like, this could be a game that snowballs out of control really quickly. LGD definitely need to start putting their foot on the gas.
And this is something that we talked a little bit about going into the pre-show, a little bit maybe even before we went live, just between you and me, K-Man, but what Group Nirvana could look like and what NIP could look like, as they are dominating so far in their first two series, going right on to XQW after taking the Grubs. And now Naya will get on the board for his first kill of the series.
Than it was the norm for this team. There was some reasonable regression, such a small sample size in split number 1, but you know, these are players that can catch fire, as we see, you know, Nayo and the rest of NIP prioritizing this Dragon that will, you know, stop LGD's only success story so far at the beginning part of this game, which was that first Dragon take. We do see Herald, of course, spawning in 45 seconds. We'll see where the priority goes, but XQW looks like the target first.
Yeah, no ability to really escape. He's going to flash away. The Tibbers was used a little bit earlier, and Doinby's going to take a ton of tower shots and go down to YCX. He claims the final kill, but the Chain of Corruption from Leave is going to give himself a double kill. A teleport comes in from Sasa. He is seen on vision. He's going to use the public execution to try to get onto the Varus, but Niket's going to crash down and force him to peel on out.
With all this priority that they've already established, look at the vision coverage in the jungle here for Ninjas in Pyjamas. It's absolutely perfect. There's no way for LGD to be able to walk up here. Rift Herald is just gone. There's no fight to be had. If Leave is in the area, it's going to be difficult for you to make any play whatsoever around any of these neutral objectives right now, and this gold lead is just going to get harder and harder to come back from. We already talked about the scaling advantage coming in from Sasa, or you know, maybe getting some picks here. That's what I would be looking for if I was LGD.
They're going to try to do their best to defend the Rift Herald push on this mid lane tier 1 turret, but Nayo's going to take that Herald and try to drive that one straight on in, and with that comes the potential engage. Nice cancel of the crash down from YCX to make sure not 4-man knockup did not connect, but it will cost him his life. However, Doinby's at 100 HP. He's going to have to get on out of there. Curtain call's been opened up. Nayo may be in some trouble. The clone's going to be able to block that force shot for just a little bit and keep the jungler for NIP alive.
Ooh, the flash.
Flashes into the Deadly Flourish. That was an interesting interaction right there. He'll be able to get on out of there. It ended up going down. However, you know, still some silver linings maybe you can pull here for this team, as they want to prevent that Dragon lead from going over, but Doinby's going to immediately go in with the flash 2-man Tibbers. Climber has to flash away, has the Blight stacks on top of him, but that Crescent Guard's going to keep him alive for now. This is out a ton of damage as Leave just flashes forward and picks him up. Doinby gets one back with the YCX, and now XQW is in a horrible position. Leave gets himself yet another double kill as his kill counter jumps up to 7, and NIP win another fight. They're going to claim that second Drake.
Created here by Ninjas in Pyjamas that allows them to get that pick onto Climber to start out the exchange in the first place. Of course, again, congrats and to Leave, and you know, props to him for being confident and aggressive enough to push forward and flash forward and secure that kill. But it's really the map dominance coming in from Ninjas in Pyjamas that makes it so difficult.
We might have to start having that conversation of the dominance they've had in the first two series. However, LGD not necessarily having their Nexus blown just yet. However, it might happen soon, especially accelerated with the Otacon being started up by NIP. Weaver's Wall is going to come in, maybe try to block out Ninjas in Pyjamas. They're immediately going to go for the Cyclone, and in goes Sasa with a really nice public execution, and it's going to get them 2 kills immediately as Leave is taken down. No carries alive. Nio's going to try to have to take this one, but Climber steals it away from his old jungler, and it's going to be a huge turnaround for LGD.
Those instances, but the Otacon and now what looks to be mid lane pressure going down as well. Top lane tier 1 is also going to fall with that play. That is a huge turning point, and that could keep LGD in this game.
On there, NIP, they probably were feeling a little invincible after winning all those fights back to back. Thought maybe we can start this Otacon up and win the fight and just eventually like go snowball this one out. But after that, it's going to be a 600 gold lead only, separating these two teams. LGD very much back in this game at this point. It's going to have to be a lot through their top side in Sasa and Climber, as they are the ones now with that gold advantage, and they're the ones who had big impacts there in that last fight.
Early clumping up, not allowing their backline to be targeted here. See if LGD want to overextend for an engage.
Weaver's Wall, it was very impactful last time around. This time, it's going to try to separate Solo Kill from the rest of his team, but he dashes right back over with his E. Dragon getting very low, and it's going to be secured by Nio, but now the fight's going to begin in earnest. In goes a lot of members of LGD into the backline, but it's not enough. Nio with a massive Cyclone, and it's going to be matched by everybody on Ninjas in Pyjamas, going straight forward and taking down everyone. 4 kills just for nothing, as NIP get themselves the soul point, and they're going to get themselves the Baron as well.
A gorgeous fight from Ninjas in Pyjamas, and this is why this comp succeeds so much in the late game. The ability to play front to back. Nio with a gorgeous ultimate coming out from the Wukong, and the follow-up. Leave might have fallen in the previous fight, but the damage was raining down in terms of arrows in this one, as those two are basically able to clean up everyone on LGD. Of course, Doingby with a really nice stun in that fight as well. We'll get to see that on the replay. Damage coming through. Leave is basically free hitting on the back line, but he's going to have to flash here as we come out of break.
And speaking of Leave, wanted to mention there, the ultimate from Sasa did not connect onto him, and that's going to maybe pay a huge price, as Climber immediately getting taken down as he's caught out in the mid-wave, and it's already a double kill picked up for Leave. Gonna get a triple, and XQW is gonna get stunned up. Leave gonna get himself a quadra kill just for free in the mid lane. Savior very far away, so the penta likely not to happen, but another 4 for nothing for NIP as they're pushing on mid with Baron in their hands.
And just like that, it goes from a game that feels playable for LGD, where the comeback looks like it could be possible, to the base being completely broken open here with Baron buff, and probably game going in favor of Ninjas in Pyjamas after a great fight.
Now the death timers are low. YCX just says respawn. Climber up in 5. The Nexus tower is burning down quicker than that. Nexus exposed. Ninjas in Pyjamas had a small hiccup, but they bounce right back after that. 3 team fights in a row will give them game number 1.
Really like this from Niket. I think Nami is a champion that is at times underplayed in professional play. I think she gives a lot of advantages in the early game. I think she's a champion that's been very strong for quite a while now. And if that's your interaction there, that's not too much to be able to talk about. Again, I think you make a really good point that both of these AD carries are going to be looking to stack as much as possible as quickly as they possibly can. But that means it can be influenced pretty heavily. We do see both junglers here, though.
Oh, Aqua Prison does not land on a Savior. Remember, he does not have a flash. Nio gonna jump on top of him and Leave once again claims first blood in back-to-back games for NIP. Using that Unstoppable Onslaught to force a couple of, I guess, time away here for XQW, and allows for NIP actually to start up this Dragon. Climber, though, is in the area. Could maybe go for a steal, but does not want to risk it at this point in the game, so Nio will be able to collect it.
Yeah, it's a lot of action happening, a lot more than maybe we expected here in terms of just proactive plays, but pretty much all of them going in favor of Ninjas in Pyjamas.
He is just getting shoved in, using all of his spells to just clear out the wave. As one grub has already been claimed by Naya, but now Climber and YCX are here. Savior joining the fight as well. We get a teleport in. Teleport. As from Sasa, he's going to be able to join the fight before Solo Kill does. Leave already forced to flash away. The Ixtal's impact is landing on XQW. A 3-man impale is only going to delay the death of Nio. As a nice collapse from LGD, get themselves a kill.
Yeah, Niket now trying to make his way out. He's going to try and flash to get to the Blast Cone, and he will do so, but he's been tagged by the Braum. You mentioned it. Still over a minute and a half until that next Dragon. Right now, it's just posturing, but Nio potentially getting collapsed on.
Gonna have a tidal wave from Niket to try to protect him as well. Doingby lands a massive between worlds, but he's gonna run right into the fate sealed of XQW, but Climber dies first, and a second kill goes Doingby's way. Solo kill jumping in as well, as XQW now in a whole lot of trouble. The Roller of the Slayer gonna slow him down. Can he get to the Blast Cone? He will be able to escape the dodge away from the Dawning Shadow, but it comes at the cost of 2 members of LGD falling.
With Drake stacking, with the Senna, with the Nami, with all of those free extra stats, another Mountain Dragon, or I guess a Mountain Dragon going in favor of a Skarner Scion comp. You know, it's definitely going to be in favor of Ninjas in Pyjamas, but you're absolutely right, Grapes. I think you hit the nail on the head. This LGD comp wants to go backwards, not forwards, in terms of how they want to play out a lot.
Now they might be forced to go back a little bit here, as XQW getting targeted is going to be defended by YCX and Climber, who now can maybe go for a play on Nio. He has no Excel's impact. He's going to get knocked up. There's the Fate Sealed. Brilliant crowd control chain is going to allow for a kill to go LGD's way, and a teleport comes in from Sasa to try to continue things here.
Thinking about for LGD, where they just don't really have a lot of ways to go and contest Ninjas in Pyjamas here. Once NIP get full control of the space around Rift Herald, there's just no way for LGD to find their way in. It's up to Braum to walk up and just hope that he can get a good engage off, and as we saw, Braum got bursted down very quickly.
As Nio just throws out the Impale, and that's going to allow for this Rift Herald to be spawned, and for mid lane tier 1 to be targeted. The Mom is not going to do enough to clear out this wave. That is going to be this mid lane tier tower taken down, and it'll give NIP a good opportunity to rotate over to the Dragon, unless Nio wants to jump in for another play. Remember, he does not have the ultimate, does not have the flash, and might actually be in some trouble here, but in goes Doingby with Between Worlds. YCX immediately taken down, and Savior has nothing to say about it.
This is the problem with burning Savior's flash on the Impale just a few moments ago, is he can't really step up to punish Nio from stepping too far forward. The Skarner feels safe and the play keeps going.
Roots, and there's the weirding. Doingby gets himself a third. Savior gets one back, but it's going to cost him his life, as Niket is going to be able to take him down. However, on the backside of things, it's going to be the Soul Landers trying to do something. The Equalize does a little bit. XQW flashing away here from the Decimating Smash, but he's fighting a losing battle against 2 tanks who don't care at all about the Blade of the Ruined King that he has in his inventory. Fate sealed away. 4 members of NIP are still standing strong and are looking to chase down this Yone.
Sole point here, as XQW is actually going to get out of this situation, and you know, that it's good on him for being able to survive. I say get out, but Doingby's still here. Leave now shown up to the play.
As the Senna has arrived here, looks like they don't want to invest too much
damage onto Climber. Really creating a difficult scenario. Savior having to give his life to even trade anything, but we're right back into action.
Yeah, I mean, LGD, they just want to keep fighting, but look at Sasa just immediately one-shotting Niket, and Leave is terribly out of position. One more auto, it's going to be the chomp instead from Climber that both secures the concussive blows and the kill for himself. 2 for nothing as the bot lane for NIP is down, and now LGD can rotate to this Otacon and potentially start it up.
Yeah, this is a big turn for LGD. If they're able to grab this Otacon, everything changes. Can Nio get in for the steal?
Doingby's going to have to be the hero here. He's 4-0-1, still has that ultimate, but he gets ulted. He gets knocked up by XQW. Will the Between Worlds be enough? No, Doingby's down. So is Nio, and only Solo Kill is left alive. He will have to retreat as LGD get themselves into this game, and they're going to take this Otacon as well.
We have seen ult after ult from XQW used to get out of fights. We finally see one used to break a fight wide open as he gets right on top of Doingby.
Their hand, Sasa, being a big reason as to why LGD are now in the lead against Ninjas in Pyjamas, and they could potentially snowball this. Remember, they're the team with the Smolder, and they can continue to be in really good spots here, as Savior is very close to getting that execute as well. So seeing them get into the pit now, get control of the mid wave, will be crucial. They got the big front-to-back team fight composition that they like. Oh, Solo Kill. His ultimate gets canceled here by the pillar of Climber, and that means that the fight could continue in favor of LGD. Leave and Savior going at it a little bit. They're chunking each other out. Between Worlds comes out from Doingby, but it's not able to find too much. But Leave is already chunked out. XQW flashing forward onto this Senna and takes him down with the 3rd proc of the Q.
At that point, it's a free follow through by XQW, and that's Soul completely delayed here. That is a huge win for LGD, and that's their gold lead not only being solidified, but really being expedited in terms of them being able to play out the late game. They have no way to walk up to these fights, and LGD now controlling the area.
Fate Seal does not connect. And now XUW gonna get taunted up here. Nayo jumping into the pit with the Ixtal's impact, but it's a little bit too early. He will get executed by Climber, and it's a 5v4 in favor of LGD now. Decimating Smash lands onto YCX, but nobody else is untouched. Savior still doing a ton of damage, looking for those executes. The Baron is so low. Who's gonna get it? Climber secures it with his smite, and Doinby's able to pick one up, but the executes might start to rain in. Somehow Doinby lives, and now NIP gonna try to chase away the stragglers. Savior at 400 HP. This is at a ton of damage, but it's not enough to take anybody down as NIP lose the dragon, but they end up getting a 1-4-1 overall. XUW teleporting back in. He goes in with that E and is able to take Doinby down. The equalizer not enough though, as Solo Kill will find another one. What a crazy fight on the top side of the map in this game number 2. Climber and XUW now doing their best to take Solo Kill down with the subjugate. It'll be the Yone picking up the kill. Savior gets one on to leave, and there's the fight for LGD.
LGD with the full control of the Baron pit that ends up really coming out on top in this exchange. Savior now really coming online onto this Smolder. 3 items, the Infinity Edge now completed for that champion really makes the difference. It looks very dicey at points, and you can definitely, critique some oversteps, maybe some missed positions.
That is one of the big go buttons that they do have off the table. NIP just going to look to poke a little bit here in this Dragon Pit area. Equalizer's gonna be big though. Look how quickly the bot lane of NIP will burn. It's gonna be Sasa, who is overheated, going golden, as they've already taken down Solo Kill. The Dawning Shadow maybe just buying a little bit of time, but it won't be enough. It's a double kill in for Savior, and it's gonna be a double for Sasa as well. An ace under the tier 2 as LGD pick up all 5 and march down the mid lane.
Absolutely gorgeous flank from Sasa there on the Rumble. We've been talking about him all game. The gold lead has grown and grown and grown for the Rumble. He finds his way onto the backline. He hits a 4-man equalizer to end this game, to send LGD to a game 2 victory, and to send us to a game number 3.
The first map dropped by Ninjas in Pyjamas and Group Nirvana will come at the hands of the champions of the group last time around. LGD and NIP are headed to a decider. Always a factor in these fearless drafts, especially as you get to game 3, whether it's in the pick or the ban phase. And now Savior, again formerly known as Xiaoya, going to be playing this Draven. They're doing an okay job of that. And now Nayo making his way towards the top side. Sasa does not have his wave in a great position. And the Q3 flash,
the flash
coming through for Solo Kill. Gonna land that initial knockup. Sasa still has his flash and gonna use it in conjunction with the counter strike. But Nayo will follow it up. And with the final proc of the Blade of the Ruin King, will secure first blood for NIP. But now on the bot side, Climber going in, gonna try to dive here. But it's a disaster as YCX falls. And LGD get nothing on the bottom side play.
Oh, and if only they had an Ignite or a heal to be able to help this play in any way. But unfortunately, the dive goes completely awry on the bottom side of the map. Climber might not even be done. He's sticking around.
They have to try. I mean, Leave doesn't have any mana, but he has both of his summoner spells available. The barrier already popped, still has his flash, but the tower is now doing so much. The Savior feats of warfare for NIP as disaster strikes on LGD's side.
NIP already at 6 minutes into the game.
They are maybe going to face some trouble here as a lot of weird lane reassignments had happened, and it's going to result in Sasa getting heavily targeted here. 4 members of Ninjas in Pyjamas make their way down towards the bottom side to take the enemy top laner down as Nayo gets his 2nd kill of the game.
For NIP this game, but they will be able to take that, and Grubs aren't even spawning for a minute 30, so there is no cross-map play for LGD to make.
And you have to wonder, like, LGD, they knew they had the early game composition. We were able to identify it in draft. I'm sure they were able to talk about it as well. Maybe just feeling the pressure a little bit, thinking that they had to go for something. Niket
champion on this patch, and so we are kind of seeing the effects of that in terms of the damage and some of these dives, and Sasa once again could be in danger.
Nayo making a return here to Sasa. All 3 of his kills potentially will have been onto him. Nice Heartbreaker forward is going to put himself on a killing spree. Sources burned without finding a single kill.
It is still worth it, though, for LGD. At the very least, it looks like they're going to be able to get a couple of these grubs, but Nayo's making his way back in. He is level 6, but he does not have the ultimate. He used it on Sasa in the bot lane, so it will just be the back off here. LGD will be able to get all 3 of these grubs. With the game state that they're in, this is definitely going to be considered a win for them. It doesn't completely absolve them of their problems, but certainly makes things a little bit more playable for them, perhaps inside lanes moving forward.
A small victory, absolutely, but still a lot of ground to make up, both in terms of the gold lead and also just compositionally speaking, as we mentioned. If they try to dive XQW here as well, he's doing a nice job to clear this wave out, and with the resistances still up on this tier 1, going to take a little bit longer for it to go down. However, now with Niket joining the fray, it should be this tier 1 falling, and it does eventually. And a lot of LGD are on the top side of the map, so there's no chance to like go for it.
Onto the top tier 1. For now, though, it will just be a hopeful trade in the future. Some gold going over to the Jax to try to equalize his terrible early game, but still a win for NIP in total.
Now, this is the problem with just like stacking one side of the map with your NIP. You are funneling gold into certain members of LGD.
The game looks like it will be completely uncontested.
Yeah, Climber headed back to base. Not wanting to risk his life, at least preserve his perfect KDA at least for a little bit longer. It's going to be the second dragon picked up the mountain, as it'll be a Chemtech Rift that will transform.
In this, they understand that they have the shove in the mid lane, which makes it much more difficult for LGD to feel comfortable pushing entirely. Sasa gonna have to sit here and collect this wave, but could be Niket.
Yeah, landing here on XQW just gets completely caught out. Doinby the one to take him down, but Sasa is able to land a 2-man counter-strike. Hero's entrance comes out. The Q3 from Solo Kill is going to find another kill, as Leave is going to be the one to collect it. 2 more in favor of NIP. It's now 7-0.
It's the new support here for Ninjas in Pyjamas that really makes that play happen with a great engage on the Rakan. Great follow through by Doinby as well on the Galio, but it just goes to show the posturing, the setup around these plays. It's not always the best if you can't actually find your priority targets, and XQW was not able to find a priority target there. Luckily for LGD, Draven did not die in the exchange, but you know, they are now getting further and further behind on a
farm because they know they could get outscaled if they are not able to find a fight soon. XQW, what the hell are you doing in there, my friend? Getting get caught out by Doinby. Niket jumping in. He then uses the Spirit Rush to get away as LGD turn their sights towards the Chemtech Drake. A teleport comes in as Sasa will make it a 5v5. XQW jumping forward, find the charm on Anayo. Chunk him down to half HP. The Whirling Death doing a lot, and Niket is getting chunked out a little bit. The Anayo jumps into the Rift Herald, knocks up 2, and will make sure YCX falls. And it's now Reset City in for Ninjas in Pyjamas. It's going to be the Dragon secured, but that's all Savior's going to get. It's going to be Climber jumping straight to his doom with a resonating strike as NIP pick up 4. We'll see if NIP can engage onto him. Solo Kills on a massive flank. The Otacon's down to half HP already. XQW try to single him out, as now LGD will try to collapse upon the player trying to go for the flank in singularity, but there goes Niket. A 2-man knockup, and Climber is already down. Nayo picks up that first reset, and LGD about to drop like flies. Savior falls. It's going to be YCX dropping as well, and NIP are up 2 touchdowns at 20 minutes.
There's nothing to do for LGD. They end up trying to peel off and go on the disconnected Solo Kill, but he's more than tanky enough to be able to survive pretty regularly. Good positioning by him to just back off and force LGD into a corner. Niket with an unbelievably good engage. He's been very good on the Rakan in this game. Get Niket on playmakers.
Away from that charm, as now NIP moving their gold lead up to almost 8,000. It will become that once they take down this tier 1 turret. Still a ton of standing gold across the map in the form of these tier 2s that can now become the next target for them, as they'll have the dragon to potentially claim in 35 seconds. And just the finishing touches now on in this game as LGD seeing things fall apart for them in that early game.
To get back into this game, we saw Ninjas in Pyjamas with a similar lead in game number 1 have a horrific fight around Otacon where they just mispositioned their main, carries and got resets in a lot of these fights. And now with the objective starting to spawn, we'll see how the objective control goes. Doinby is a little bit isolated here.
We're having some happy game moments, maybe Doinby in a 1v3. Leave, though, has joined, and in goes Niket. They might just be too strong to make sure their captain does not fall. Finally, it'll be Climber claiming the first kill of the game here for LGD. And now a 1,000 goal shutdown onto Leave. LGD finding 2 kills. And you don't say never here in the LPL. What they have to do to get themselves back into this game number 3. NIP on the way. Solar Flare not finding a stun, but slowing up too. Doinby throwing out a little bit of poke, and Leave playing very safe on this backline. Solo Kill doing his best to try to hunt out any potential flanker, but in goes XQW. They're looking for the backline, and there's Sasa flashing on the Leave once again. The Sivir is down, but it comes at the cost of Climber's life, and now it's a 4v4 across the map. Solo Kill hunting down Savior. They're diving the backline, and they will do so successfully as Nayo picks himself up another reset. Doinby taunts up 3, but it will be the Viego going down. Solo Kill has to carry this one, but Sasa might just do a little more. He goes golden, but Solo Kill's too strong at this point. The Q3 will take him down, and it's a 4 for 4 with XQW now on the run. Solo kill will try to chase him out, and it will be the ace picked up for NIP. We got the Dragon started up here by LGD. Solo kill and Sasa trying to just box each other out on potential flank angles as a 4v4 has been set up on the other side of the Dragon Pit. LGD don't necessarily want to flip this one as they know if it goes their way, it'll be the soul deny, but NIP want to make sure they claim this Chemtech soul. Dragon's now at 6,000, both sides playing very cautiously here. Sasa jumps over the pit. They're going to look to try to force this right now, and the kick goes in with the ultimate, but not finding a whole lot just yet. It's going to be the Dragon secured by Climber, but YCX dies first. Reset's now coming in as Nio has an opportunity to go crazy, but he goes into a pretty bad spot. The Heartbreaker forward, though, is going to save him as Nio, the new jungler, will shut down his old team. He gets himself a triple kill and NIP win the fight.
Throughout a lot of the exchange, Sasa was not able to get onto the backline as easily as he was able to in the previous fights. XQW still in the area.
He gets stunned up. He didn't realize that Nio would not be on the Baron, and it's perfectly baited by the NIP top side. They finish off the delayed ace. However, they're going to go back to the Baron, and this could be a little bit risky with Climber respawning.
Yeah, Climber is on the way. They are not going to take this down by the time he gets here. If he is here, this is a very dangerous play for NIP.
Okay. Niket is here. Teleport's going to come in as Doinby will join as well. It'll be very difficult now for Climber to get in, as Doinby can just play bouncer around the Baron pit to make sure that this Lee Sin cannot have an opportunity for a steal. Just in Pyjamas, they're going to be hunting down these tier 2 turrets, trying to add to that gold lead, as they have Doinby pushing in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, this is a difficult job here for LGD to protect all of these towers. They did a good job clearing at first, and they do have at least a bit of wave clear. It's not super efficient because it's really just Ahri, but you know, they should be able to hold off, and as long as they don't make an egregious misplay, they shouldn't be able to really push forward on this Baron. We'll see if LGD, though, want to look for potentially something on the backline. You called it correctly. Doinby is mid lane. Climber is looking.
Ooh. Sonic Wave does not connect. They're looking for leave. Does have both of his summoner spells available,
XQW.
Could be a bit in danger. YCX tries to go forward, but in goes Doinby to the rescue and taking down the support of LGD. Flash forward from solo kill will seal the fate of the Ahri, and in goes the rest of NIP. Move on over, LGD. There's a new king atop of Group Nirvana, and his name is Ninjas in Pyjamas. Only Sauce is alive, as 4 members of NIP will take down the Nexus in Game 3.
It's a brilliant engage there by NIP to be able to chunk out the Ahri. Once she's down, she is dusted. LGD put up a heroic effort to try to come back from an unwinnable game state, but it's just not enough. Ninjas in Pyjamas establish themselves at the top of Group Nirvana.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.